everybody. My name's Howard. Thank you for helping me practice tonight. I'll be your practicing pianist. It's nice to see everybody, even though nobody's here. Today is October 24th, the fabulous year of 2020. The time is 9:21. That's East Coast, Buffalo, New York time. That's official lounge time in the PM. And we're broadcasting from the center of Buffalo, New York, downtown. And it's wonderful to be here tonight. Especially after missing several days of practicing. They say if you miss one day, you notice yourself. If you miss 2 days of practice, the audience notices. You miss 3 days of practice, your sponsor notices. Then you're screwed. It's like jumping in a swimming pool and splashing around, getting used to the water. Come on in, the water's great. Little back float. Little diving to the bottom. Better come up for air. Look who's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's our official sidekick, Mr. Show Business himself, Mr. London. Mr. London is in the house. Mr. London, this is great. I purposely started, it turned out, it's a little early. I know that this is like the middle of the night for you. You're used to an earlier schedule with your new back to work. We have a little interruption in the stream for some reason. It says excellent connection. I don't know why there'd be a break. We just keep going. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. London. I'm trying to keep moving to stay warm. It's kind of cold in the WBIG.Tv studios tonight. I've got a fireplace on, but that's not quite enough. That's okay though. Gives me more energy. Yeah, it says green, excellent condition. It just, for that one episode there, it just suddenly said there was no data. Then it just kicked back in again, so it could have been COVID or Russians. Could be foreign countries interfering with our lounge experiences. What town are you in again in Illinois, Mr. London? My nephew lives in Schaumburg. Is that where you are? Maybe you guys know each other. Good to play. I have to come clean without Mr. London looking over my shoulder every day. I got to admit, I've been screwing off with the practicing a little bit. But I always rationalize it, though. I was busy doing productive things. Wood River, 30 minutes northeast of St. Louis. Is that anywhere near Schaumburg, I think is the name of his town. He has a radio show, or he did have a radio show for years. Back to Health with J.R. Barone. He's a chiropractor. I might have screwed it up. He's only lived there for like 20 years. And I'm not even sure of it, so that's how closely I pay attention to things. I never listen. I probably buffered a lot when there was that interruption or something. I just saw it there. So there. Better start practicing for spring. If I look at you I think you're right about that. That's what I was thinking, Mr. London. If I dream out loud when we're in a crowd and forget the time of day, darling, bear with me when they stare at me and remark there goes an April Fool in me. It's spring. Ooh, bluebirds love spring. Even bluebird buses. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Something to really look forward to, isn't it? It always is. I also, I'm looking forward to the horrible, dark winter. Because you can get things done without the distractions of happiness. Last year was really a winter. Everything was closed. We were all hypochondriacs. And I really exploited that. I did some organizing around my shop that took months and months and months to do. It took years and years and years to get around to doing. So, I love it. I've got all kinds of wonderful activities I can do when the weather's really horrible, when we're hibernating. Well, thank you, Mr. London. So maybe I'm just one of those half-full guys, Or maybe I'm just half full of it. Either way, it's the same thing, right? Mathematically. I'm hoping to get a lot of things done. A lot of them right here, right in this room. I want to get a lot of things done. Hoping to do, I'd like to spruce up the lounge a little bit here at WBIG.Tv and maybe get it ready for the next big thing, whatever that might be. Yeah, that melancholy mood. There's a lot to be said for that. No, you don't want to fall down and break your rear end or something on the ice. We're not talking about that. So, but you learn how to survive the winters, especially here in Buffalo. I'm sure it's that way Your winters, are they much different than ours here in Buffalo, Mr. London? I'm already rocking my winter boots. I'm breaking them in. It's a new pair. Thinking ahead, make sure they're comfortable. I'll tell you right now, they feel good. They're nice and toasty, and let me see what the temperature is in here. For those of you curious at home. Oh, it's not too bad. The fireplace has brought the temperature up to 64 degrees. So that's a nice temperature that helps keep you preserved. That isn't too bad. It was 58 earlier. So we've gained. That's Fahrenheit for you people watching in Europe. Oh, that was my pleasure, Mr. London. You did a great job with that video. It's very, very encouraging that what you're putting out is. I'm glad you're devoted to this enterprise. Yeah, that's about it. That describes us in a nutshell. And then in the spring, of course, we can launch our secret project. Spring would be a good time to do that, to really launch it. Ooh, yeah. Of course, this winter we probably won't walk out like we did last winter, where they order everybody to stay home, order takeout, don't pay your bills, and what else? Just that was good. What's not to like, right? Of all the big catastrophes throughout the history of man, immortalized in biblical scriptures and in history books, this last one, if you were fortunate enough to stay healthy, which the vast majority of us fortunately did, what's wrong with ordering takeout and being told not to pay your bills? Thank you, Mr. London. Me too. I've missed this. The secret project is very exciting. I'm looking at some of the equipage. It's out of the camera range, but I can see it because I've got it staged in here because I knew nobody would be in the lounge. So it's over in the adjoining area, looking good. Yeah, I got it. I did not like the concern I felt for, everybody out there that is screwed. If you have a business, we all know that there's many. I'm surrounded by businesses and down here, and I'm in the heart of downtown Buffalo, and it breaks your heart, to see. But it's like that. You don't have to look far wherever you are in the country. Restaurants, bars, and those are just the most visible things, because those are the things we go and frequent as ordinary people in the course of a day. But there's all kinds of businesses we've never heard of that supply other businesses. The non-glamorous things. Like they'll make a tool or a valve or something, or they'll repair refrigeration equipment or whatever it happens to be. And there's a lot more of those, and so I'm kind of like you, Mr. London. You feel like a survivor's guilt, because I actually made out great, and the government was threatening to take this building and demolish it for some big ambitious plans they had, that I've got nothing against the plans other than they were going to destroy my place. So all of a sudden, after worrying for a few years about that was like the biggest thing on my mind for a few years. I was really bummed out about that, and I don't get bummed out too easy. All of a sudden, my problems were over, because they had bigger problems to deal with. They're totally broke. They're not building any convention centers. Problem solved. So, you got to look on the bright side of things. You can always find a silver lining. You got to look for the silver lining. There's still COVID restrictions. Your day is done at 2 p.m. and you're only working Monday through Thursday. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm glad you like your new schedule, that it's a slightly truncated schedule. Leaves you time for your practicing and general enjoyment of life. And thank you. Yes, I'm thrilled that the mansion is saved. I could roll with just about anything, but it was just that made it impossible. I always say don't make any plans. And my philosophy was proven out by that hiccup. But I did have plans for the place, still do. Plans of things we're going to do here, and things we're going to do downtown. And that really threw me, because I never, you own a place, you think it's up to you to make it or break it, right? And then you find out they could just take it and give you a check for whatever they want. There's really nothing you can do about it. So you do something else, right? So, it's easy to rationalize, but I just couldn't get over that, Now I'm over it. Yeah. Here's what I say to those. Here's what I say to those naysayers. I'm gonna laugh you right out of my life. Laugh and forget this affair. Guess I was foolish to care. So I'm gonna dance you right out of my dreams. Try to be carefree and gay. I guess I learned to play the parts. 'Cause when our friends begin that heartless rumor, I know I really need my sense of humor. I'm gonna laugh you right out of my life, make it a beautiful joke. No one will know you broke my heart. And if I find you and I really meant that last goodbye, then I'm gonna laugh so hard I cry. Oh yeah, I laugh so hard I cry. That's music by the phenomenal Cy Coleman. Not only was he, as we all know him, as a wonderful writer of musicals, but he was one of the best jazz pianists, and I don't think a lot of people knew that. I was surprised to see that when I saw some private videos of him performing. The guy, that was amazing pianist. Yeah, well, at least if they're destroyed by things outside of our control, then we shouldn't have to blame ourselves, right? Which is always the worst thing, if there's something you're blaming yourself for. But still, it's better to emerge victorious. It's better to emerge unscathed by the weather storm. And rejoice, because a lot of storms we don't fare so well with, right? So when the hurricane misses your house, be happy. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. My name's Howard. If you just tuned in, you're helping me practice by being here. like a phoenix rising from the ashes. That's what we are, right? Well, it was the weirdest thing, you know. I mean, I feel bad even like telling the story, but it's what I experienced and how I feel. And like I said, I kind of have survivor's guilt. I do, you know. I feel horrible for everybody. I mean, that's the part that's painful for me, because I've been in business my whole life, you know, with small businesses, and I really, you know, I had closed a business, you know, a smooth landing, you know, something that was successful, and it finished its usefulness, and so I mean, I didn't have anything going that got destroyed. You know, I mean, you know, my ship was dry docked during the rough seas. Couldn't have, I mean, you know, I was just fortunate that way, the timing. And then they come along and wanted to destroy the mansion, and by putting it under the cloud of eminent domain, they destroy anything you could do with the property. I mean, it's hard to sell it, you can't lease it, you don't want to invest to build a new business, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna make you move anyway, right? So you don't know what to do, you just can't do anything, you're just kind of screwed. Then all of a sudden, you know, and there was not a lot of sympathy, because I'm downtown, I'm playing with the big boys, I'm surrounded by these big, huge buildings and businesses that, I mean, they throw $100 million into many of the buildings around me, just for improvements, right? So I could understand, they're not concerned with some guy who likes to practice piano in his mansion, right? I mean, you know, they're not overly concerned, because they've got big, important things. I understand that. But all of a sudden, this COVID storm hits, and now I was the only one, until things started to open up a little bit, I was the only one with the lights on downtown. It was weird. It was like what a perverse reversal of fortune, you know? It's like all I wanted to do was mind my own business and keep my house, keep my mansion, and just do whatever I dream up for it, right? Next thing I know, everyone is closed and out of business, everyone with all the big plans, right, for my property. And I'm here, having a ball. You know, it's like, what the heck is going on? I mean, so you got to watch what you wish for. You know, I wanted to prevail, right? I wanted to be able to enjoy my property and the plans that I made. That's all. I didn't want to close down like everybody else, you know? But it's like, they all got what they wanted for me. They got it. And I'm fine. You know, it's like, so I feel kind of, I almost feel responsible. Yeah, it's understandable. I totally understand. You know, the mistake I made, if I made a mistake, only time will tell. So far, on balance, I'm pretty happy with my investment here. But the mistake I made was, I was new to real estate, right? And I always heard, you know, buy the best location. Location, location, location. So I bought this old crumbling mansion, which is kind of cool. I mean, not everybody, you know, A lot of people like new buildings, they're more practical and everything. So not everybody likes, this isn't their, but a lot of people, everyone likes the historic feel you get from the place, the sentimentality and everything. But it's not something everybody would buy. But the location, you didn't need to hit me in the head with a lead pipe to tell me that this was a kick-ass location. It was right in ground zero of everything important and in the middle of it all, So I figured, how can you go wrong, with the location? And I liked it. I liked the location too for myself. I just liked the people around here. The office, the downtown workers, and I like being down where that part of the action is, and we're near the theater district, we're near the bar district, we're near the government district. I mean, by near, I mean we're within a block or two of all those things. But anyway, here's the lesson, my real estate lesson to everybody. Think twice before you buy the best, if you're fortunate enough to be able to have the opportunity to buy the best location on the planet, think twice, because everyone else wants it and is going to target it, and you figure, well, it's too bad, right? You bought it, you own it, but that's not the case. If big important people want something, they're gonna try to get it. So it's kind of like the analogy. They always said, do you really want to have as your girlfriend, you really want, the Bo Derek, the 10 of your, of your world, do you want the movie star? Do you want, because, you're going to get into a fight every time you walk into a bar, right? Sometimes you're better off with the B location, right? That's what they always used to say about girlfriends, remember? Back in our single days. I'd say, do you really want, to get in over your head and just, you're gonna have problems, you gotta defend it. So you'd be better off getting an ugly little property that nobody likes in a swamp or something. Or just a nice one, in a decent, good area where everybody wants to be, but it's not insane. This is an insane piece of real estate that we're broadcasting from as far as location goes. So I guess this whole ordeal, it kind of taught me, it kind of reoriented my view of things, and so now I kind of know, I'm basically a renter in my own place, and I should think that way, don't think forever, because I'm probably going to have to keep defending this place, and be a world pandemic to come along just in the nick of time and save me. Nor would I want it to. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks, Mr. London. me too. That's what I always thought I would do with this, Mr. London. But then weird things happened. That's what I always imagined too, because I wanted to do this really my whole life, and I was horrible. I mean, I wasn't even horrible. I couldn't even, despite all my attempts at practicing, I just couldn't get airborne with it, with music. And I didn't sing until a few years ago. Never really thought I'd even attempt that. And but my kind of vision for what my music would bring me, or my ambition was always, some little out of the place where there's some cool people that might be around the piano, and that's all you need, right? It's a beautiful thing, And then a series of things happened that were just really fortunate for my music, which was really, going nowhere and no place, and I showed no, other than I didn't give up on it. I never knew why I was doing it. I didn't know anybody that did this. I didn't have any relatives in music, I didn't even have any friends that were musicians. So I was really just kind of on my own, and I was just thought, wow, cocktail piano is just a cool thing. So I kept it up, I figured it takes you somewhere, you find out where it's going. So anyway, it led to a music professor, in-law, on Thanksgiving dinner in the 1990s. He said, why don't you go to Fanny's and watch Al Tinney play piano. He was a very hot jazz pianist with a great band. So anyway, I went to this place, and I meet my future wife, who happens to be the music critic for the local newspaper. So next thing you know, I'm married to the critic, and going to all the performances and seeing things through her eyes, meeting all these people, getting to know all the musicians because of her, So then we're having weekly jams, little piano get-togethers at the house. It started before we were married. And we did that for years, and we had all these great talented people would come by, and I'd play a little bit, for a few minutes, and all the good players would play the rest of the night. And I got to learn from these people that became my mentor, these really great musicians. So week after week, for years and years, we did this. Then on top of that, I meet Jackie Jocko, because Mary had done a piece in the paper about him. After a number of years, all of a sudden he takes me under his wing, and I couldn't. Yes, she was unbelievable, and that's just part of it, So, married, 2 years after we're married, I had just gotten this place, 2006, and Mary takes off for this great opportunity to be the official biographer for Leonard Pinario, the great concert pianist. So she takes off for 2 months. She was gone with Leonard out in California. He was in a nursing home, and she's getting his story, which was amazing. So every night I'm over at Jackie Jocko's, over across the parking lot over at the Hyatt, where he was playing 4 nights a week, or maybe 5 nights a week then. At the steakhouse, E.B. Green Steakhouse. So I'm eating there every night. I'm eating dinner next to the piano, next to Jocko, just, and we got to know each other, even better, because in fact, I remember the day she left to go to California, I went to E.B. Green's for dinner, and Jocko knew she left, and he says, "You want to come with me? I'm going to a funeral," or a wake. It was a wake, and sure, So all of a sudden, I'm tagging around with Jocko. What a funeral that was. So anyway, the adventures began, and now that was 2006. Now it wasn't until 2000. Oh yeah, okay. So anyway, I'm taking too long to tell this story. I should just give the highlights, the bullet points. So then I'm not working with Jocko yet, right? Years go by after that, and he was always saying, I'll come over sometime and I'll show you a few things or whatever. It never happened, So then in 2011, 5 years later, I got involved in this kind of strange situation where I sold a hotel. I didn't own it. I knew nothing about real estate. And they were going to abandon this place. So I volunteered to sell it because I didn't think, I thought I could do it. I was sure I could do it. But they were going to abandon it. So they said, okay, I could do it. The trust, it was in bankruptcy court. They gave me their blessings, and they'd open it up with the keys so I could show it to people that were flying in from around the country. So anyway, the deal wasn't a deal. People would say, "It's great of you to be doing this. If we buy the place, what can we do for you?" And I said, "You can't do anything for me. I'm just doing it. I got this rare opportunity to be a great guy downtown, kind of make my mark," is the way I was thinking. To make a difference, And besides, I'm not a broker. I can't get paid for this because I found out it would violate the law. I can't take anything. I said, I just like an opportunity, though, to be the pianist. I'd like to be able to play the piano in the lobby. They didn't even have a piano in the lobby. I don't know where I thought the piano was going to come from. So anyway, I wind up finding a buyer for the thing. It was written up in the paper and stuff. And I got to play the piano, whenever I wanted. I got to be their official pianist. So I was nervous about that because the place was going to open up and I couldn't really play, right? I mean, I've always been trying to learn to play, but I couldn't, you're trying to get it together so you could be confident doing a cocktail gig. How would you like your first gig is going to be at this big historic? It was the sale of that historic hotel, which is next door to where we are here. According to the local newspaper, the Buffalo News, when they ranked their biggest news stories of the year. That was the biggest story of the year for them, was this Statler. That was how big of a thing this was. I wasn't that big of a thing, but the story was, right? So it's 2011. I tell Jocko, it's like when they open in the fall, they had to like do some remodeling and fix some things, water leaks and all kinds of stuff because the place was boarded up. I told Jocko, I said, I'm kind of nervous because I'm going to play piano there, and I don't feel like I'm ready, you know. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. He says, I'll come. We talked about getting together. I'll come over. So he came over with Dave Granville, who was from City Hall, good friend. A good friend of Jocko's, who I actually introduced to them for the first time, years before that. But anyway, it's something totally unrelated. But so they came over. We were right here. The piano was facing the other way, but it was in this room. That was in August of. I can't keep the date perfectly straight in my mind, but he says, I'll help you get in shape for that, you know, and kind of give you. So he came over, and then it turned into a once a week thing with David Granville and me and Jocko. So I called it Lounge Academy because I was videoing it, because I just thought this is just too cool. I got to video this because Jocko is such an amazing character. And then after like a week or two, I said, I want to learn to sing and play, because he was showing David how to sing and play. I said, I want to do that too. So he started working with me, and it was so hard to do. First of all, I was like terrified of singing. I was really self-conscious. I really had no, you know, there was nothing about my voice that anybody would say, oh, I hear something there. I think you could be a singer. No, it wasn't anything like that. But I just wanted to be able to do it, you know. And so that's how I got involved with Jocko, and he taught me every week for free. He just did this. He really wanted me to replace him, which made absolutely no sense under any common sense or laws of physics known to the planet Earth. I mean, I know tons of guys. Everybody's better than me, right? And he had no students, just me. You know, it wasn't like he taught. He didn't teach. And he really wanted me to take his place at E.B. Green's when he eventually, you know, because he was getting old, and he figured sometime it's got to. They wound up closing the place when he retired. So it was a crazy thing, you know, and then, thanks to Mary, I got hooked up with, a year after Jocko started with me, I met, Mary did a story on, you could look him up, you could Google Andy Anselmo, A-N-S-E-L-M-O. And I had met Andy once at a Jackie Jocko birthday party, because there was a party arranged for several prominent music personalities in the area that had a birthday around the same time. That was years before, but anyway, so I'd met him briefly, but I really didn't know what he was about. But he's known as the music singing coach to the stars, right? He worked with all these big names, and he retired and, you know, came back to Buffalo, and had some students, and I met him when Mary was interviewing him. I decided I got to go along to this interview. I usually didn't go to him, but I want to meet this guy. And we went to his house, and we hit it off great, and we just got along great. And so I contacted him. I said, hey, is there any, can I take lessons from you? And so I started taking bel canto lessons, classical singing. We did arias and the exercises, and I was with him from September 2012 to June of 2016 when he decided not to teach. He was having some health scares, which he was 93 years old at that time, and but he's still going strong. 4 years later, he's quite a guy, and so that really is helping me tremendously, and I still practice his stuff every day. And so anyway, so I've had really lucky, amazing things. And then this place, on top of everything else. And then so I started doing the streaming and the parties. We got these things, and it's like finally I was able to we used to throw parties here at the mansion, and I would invite my favorite piano bar pianists, and mentors like Guy Balleri. He was real important to me. It still is. I think of him he's still around, but he's not active anymore. Doesn't play out, and of course nobody does now. Doesn't come to the parties regularly like he used to. So I was able to finally, eventually, do a whole night, and that's what we've been doing for a number of years. And then we started live streaming it, and we'd have, a house full of people and show business people and everything every Friday night. And that's really all I wanted to do, was get to be good enough to be able to do that, to be able to carry the room if we didn't have somebody, So, yeah, so I'm pretty lucky. It shows you, if you just pursue something and you don't know why you're pursuing it, it can bring you great things to your life, I mean, it's, I'm just blessed with it, it's just a great thing. Just the way it is, just what it gives me, So stick with it, Mr. London, because crazy hobbies, one thing leads to another. It gave me, it got me married. I never thought that would happen. And it brought me, opened up a whole life, It's weird. And I'm the worst one, It's not like, it's just a matter of, I don't know. Some things can't be explained. So you just got to roll with them and take the good, So anyway, I'm going to go home and eat dinner with the wife and cat. And another perk of music is I can go home to the wife and cat and have dinner. So, and I get to have pals like Mr. London. So it's all good. And we'll see you again. I might not see you on the stream until next weekend, and I hope I do see you next weekend when our schedules coincide. Otherwise, I'll see you in the reruns. And enjoy your Sunday, and say hi to the kids on Monday. And everybody, thanks for helping me practice without an audience threatening to be here, either live or in reruns. I'd likely blow off practicing and not become a better musician. So thank you. And good night, everybody.